opponents. Game 1 today here in Lehi. Game 2 tomorrow in Pleasant Grove at 3:30. And Game 3 back here on Friday. We'll be back here after a couple hype videos to get you ready for Game 1 of this series. Today's matchup features Pleasant Grove and Lehi. Pleasant Grove comes into this game 3-3 in region play with a sweep versus Westlake, and then coming off a series in which they got swept by American Fork. Lehi comes into this game in their first series of region play, and they're 4-2. Their first series, they lost a series to American Fork 2-1, and then they swept Lone Peak in their last 3 games. So very, very competitive squads. 2 very good teams taking the field today. We will have the lineups and the man on the mound for the Pioneers. We'll have that all for you after the playing of the national anthem here at the stadium. On the broadcast, we'll step away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lehi High School for today's baseball game between the Pleasant Grove Vikings and your Lehi Pioneers. We welcome our guests from Pleasant Grove and wish all the players good luck in today's game. Both schools are members of the Utah High School Activities Association and support the new statewide sportsmanship program, Raise the Bar. Sportsmanship does matter, and we ask for your support in demonstrating respect for the game and all the participants by refraining from negative cheers, chants, or behavior. Do rowdy right. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor our country in the playing of the national anthem. Thank you. Now for the starting lineups for today's game. First from the visitors from PG, Pleasant Grove Vikings. Batting first and leading off, number 8, Drew Smith. Batting second, the third.
For Lehi, the man on the mound is Tegan Stevenson. He has a 5.83 ERA, but coming off a very good start against Lone Peak. He opened the series for Lehi against the Knights, went 5 strong innings, only allowing 1 earned run. And he'll be backed up today by a Lehi offense that scored 24 runs in their last 2 games, 12 in each. Meanwhile, for Pleasant Groves, batting leadoff and in defensively playing second base, Drew Smith. R.J. Wilson follows him. Tua Wolfgram will be behind the dish today. He's batting third. That's a 1-2-3 we've seen from Pleasant Grove a lot this season. Batting cleanup, making his return to the field, Gabe McCoy. He'll be playing center. C.J. Anderson batting fifth, the lefty. Mason Anderson is batting sixth. Nash Bennett, Slater Scow, Jacob Baxter go 7, 8, 9. A little confusing, and at least to me, why you don't see Brock Robinson in that lineup. He's been on a good stretch and doesn't strike out a ton, doesn't walk, walks a good amount, and puts the bat on ball, puts the ball in play. But he is on the bench today. We'll see if he finds his way in at any point. But for Pleasant Grove, a very, very good 1 through 9 regardless. With Mason Henry at 6th. That's a spot we've seen him occupy a little bit throughout the lineup, but he's a guy who is hoping to have a big difference in today's game. Stevenson prepares. He's got 1 pitch left. On the mound for Pleasant Grove, also number 23, Hudson Banks. He had an even better start than Stevenson his last time out. We'll talk about that at the bottom half of this inning. But now we start with Drew Smith as he takes the left side of the plate, the right-handed batter's box, and he steps in. Behind the dish with Stevenson today is, and right away Smith grounds to shortstop. The throw on to first is in time, so 1 pitch and 1 out. That was Madsen making the throw over to Heaps. It's Manukin behind the dish, and that brings up R.J. Wilson. As Smith making me go a little faster than I wanted to. But Wilson now at the dish. Stevenson deals. High, 1-0. Stevenson, the right-hander. He deals. Wilson fouls that one back. Count moves 1-1. I'll knot it up at 1. Wilson had a very good season so far, capped and really highlighted by that 2-home-run game against Westlake when they traveled there on the season. RJ batting .292 with a .426 OBP and a .500 slug, so a .926 OPS for RJ Wilson as he fouls that one off and moves the count to 1-2. He's been a staple at third in this Pleasant Grove lineup, and that's not a spot I see him leaving anytime soon. Wilson wearing the highlighter cleats today. Stevenson already has 1 out. Now the 1-2. Grounded to first. Fielded cleanly. He'll take it himself, and stepping on the bag for the Pioneers is Heaps. Back-to-back groundouts open up the game for Pleasant Grove. And that brings up Tua Wolfgram. Gabe McCoy is on deck, making his return after missing some time. Stevenson deals low and outside, but gets brought back in for a strike. As Stevenson looks in, he deals over the head of Wolfgram. 1-1. The umpire is not happy with some jawing from the Pleasant Grove dugout. 1-1, 2 outs. Stevenson deals to Wolfgram. Wolfgram lines that one to right field. Going back and making the catch for Lehi, ends the inning. So we're going to have to wait to see Gabe McCoy. Pleasant Grove goes down 1-2-3 in the first. We head to the bottom of the first after this. For Pleasant Grove on the mound is Hudson Banks, and boy, what a pitcher is he, coming off a complete game one-run performance a week ago today. Unfortunately for him, he had to pick up the loss as Pleasant Grove fell 1-0 to the Cavemen. But on the season, a 2.02 ERA, a 1.27 WHIP in 27 2/3 innings. And we talked earlier in the season about how his strikeout to walk ratio was kind of the only thing that you could look at Banks and say, man, that needs to improve. It's improved. 2.54 is where it's sitting right now. 33 strikeouts to 13 walks. Still a little bit of improvement can be done. That's a pretty good number for a guy who's just a senior in high school. For Lehi, rolling out the lineup of Williams, Madsen, Williams, 1, 2, 3. Dracolich, Mannequin, Peterson go 4, 5, 6. Brown, Heaps, Yates round out the bottom of the order, and they'll be facing the lefty Banks today. A lefty on lefty to open up the game as the second baseman Williams steps in. He's wearing 21, so it's Ozzie Williams, and he's a threat if he can get on. He has 6 stolen bases this season, but first he's got to get past Banks. Banks is ready. He kicks, deals. Strike one. Man, that's a pretty hard pitch to hit, huh? The way it's coming in there. The velocity, pinpointing it at the bottom of the zone. The 0-1 from Banks. Grounded weakly up the middle. Smith fields, tough throw. Not in time. Williams is safe on first. We'll see what they scored. I believe it's going to be an infield single.
Now batting for the Pioneers, the shortstop, number 7,
as it was weak contact, but put in a spot that it's hard to get to. And it is going to be an infield single. So that puts Williams on first. Madsen is at the dish now, another lefty. He's playing short today. Banks, he'll check on Williams. He's back in safely. Something we see Banks do a lot is checking on those runners. And he's found some success this year doing so, as he has 2 pickoffs. Banks looks over. Now he's going to throw back over. It gets past Henry, who steps over Williams but can't get to it before Williams reaches second base. So no runner in scoring position early for the Pioneers. As Williams moves out of double play territory, helping Madsen at the plate. So Banks still yet to deal to Madsen. Wolfgram is his battery mate. We'll talk about the defense after this pitch. Banks deals. That one hit Wolfgram in the mask, but a strike. Count moves 0-1. For Pleasant Grove defensively, as I mentioned, Wolfgram, the battery mate with Banks. He's behind the dish. Going from first to third in the infield, it's Henry, Smith, Baxter, Wilson. Right to left in the outfield, it's Scow, McCoy, and Bennett. The DH for Pleasant Grove today is C.J. Anderson. We'll see him in the next inning. He'll bat first. Banks moves the count to 0-2 as he busts Madsen inside. So now with an 0-2 for Banks. A powerful arm on the mound. With Williams on second. Baxter deals the 0-2. Banks, excuse me, not Baxter. That pitch high, 1-2. It's pretty hard to confuse Baxter and Banks, but I found a way to do it somehow. Banks is 1-2. As he looks back at Williams on second, now he deals. That pitch lined. Henry can't grab it. Smith is going to throw over to Henry, so they get an out. Banks points at Smith, but that moves Williams to third.
Now batting for the Pioneers, the third baseman.
As that brings up Williams, Cooper Williams, that is. With a runner on third, Pleasant Grove is going to keep the infield at a more normal depth. Now Smith comes in, and the whole infield is going to come in. So Pleasant Grove's going to try to cut off this run at the plate. Banks drops it down low, 1-0. Williams off third. Williams at the dish. Banks drops a strike in there, 1-1. One ball, one strike, one out for Banks and the Vikings. There's strike two. Banks working efficiently thus far. Doesn't feel like throwing balls today. On deck is Drakulich, one of the cooler names in high school baseball. Banks is 1-2. Thought he got it, but a ball given to him, 2-2 now. Wolfgram making his return behind the dish. And that one's cut on and missed. Banks with his first strikeout of the day. And a big one to bring Drakulich up with 2 outs and a runner on third. That's a big strikeout for Banks. Drakulich steps in. Banks kicks and deals. Outside, ball gets the backstop. That ball hit right back to Wolfgram, and that forced the runner to head back to third. He was coming home, but saw Wolfgram get the ball and returned in time to stay on the base paths. So Banks prepares. Banks deals. That pitch is skied in the infield. Henry retreats into foul territory and makes the catch. It wasn't Henry who made the catch. It was Scow who came on to make the catch. But Banks works around a single and a runner on third to get out of the first inning. We are all knotted up at 0. We'll stay here as Banks with a very, very solid first inning. And coming up in this inning for Pleasant Grove is Gabe McCoy. He's going to lead it off. C.J. Anderson, Mason Henry. That's 4, 5, 6 in Pleasant Grove's order, but 1, 2, 3 in this inning. This is McCoy's first game back since the first game versus Westlake when he had a hamstring issue re-aggravated. He only had 1 plate appearance in that game, but he had a single, so went out with a bang, I guess. But on the season, and again, more of a limited sample size for McCoy, we're only looking at 37 plate appearances compared to 66 for Drew Smith, who has played every game, or nearly every game. McCoy batting .394 with a .405 OBP, striking out at 16% of the time and walking at 5% of the time. So if you have any complaint with the way Gabe McCoy has played, that's probably it. Striking out, the strikeout to walk ratio is too high. As Pleasant Grove still searching.
Leading off for the Vikings, the center fielder number 7, Gabe.
And that brings up McCoy against Stevens. McCoy is wearing the long pants. I think he's stepping on the bottom of them. But whatever makes him comfortable. Out there next to the plate, Stevens steps in and steps on the mound. Stevens deals in there for strike one. Count moves 0-1. Good to see McCoy back. Took 2 weeks off. He was still practicing a little bit, taking limited reps, but now he's in game action. The 0-1 is low and outside, 1-1. Good eye from McCoy. Stevens 1-1 is fouled. It'll drift out of play. 1-2. It is a beautiful day for baseball out here. In the 70s, sunny, short sleeve weather. And I'm rocking it. Stevens 1-2. Low and outside, called strike 3. Pleasant Grove's fans not happy with the call, and McCoy understandably not either. That brings up C.J. Anderson. He's been on a little bit of a tear. He's been getting his time in the lineup. He sat out the last game against American Fork, but the game before that, the second game of that series, he was hit by a pitch, walked, and flew out. So getting on 2 out of 3 times is not bad. Anderson rips that one foul. To open up this count 0-1. He's also a lefty for Pleasant Grove, which mixes up the lineup a little bit. Stevens deals. At pitch, strike 2, 0-2. Stevens 0-2, 1 out. He deals. Anderson chops that one up the middle. Fielded throw in time. As it was the shortstop Madsen who got a sliding Anderson out at first. That ball jumped high, but nothing given to him, as that brings up Mason Henry for his first plate appearance of today's game. Last time out against American Fork, just like every other Viking, he was hitless, 0 for 2, with a fly out and a ground out. That pitch low and outside, 1-0. Stevens with the 1-0, makes it a 2-0. This is really the first time he's been working from behind an account, as Manukin has done a good job framing pitches and calling a good game behind the dish. Here's the 2-0. At pitch, fouled back out of play, 2-1. Nash Bennett on deck. He's batting 7th in today's order. He'll be followed by Scow and Baxter in Pleasant Grove's order before it turns back over. Stevens 2-1 is grounded foul, 2-2. Henry was early on that one and pulled it down the third base line. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the top of the second inning. Still knotted up at 0. Stevens deals. And Henry stays alive as he keeps the count at the 2-2 mark. Henry's 2-2. Takes it inside. Count moves full. Payoff pitch coming in. We talked about it in that last game against American Fork. If there was any positive, Pleasant Grove worked a lot of payoff pitches. They got into a lot of deep counts with 2 outs. And here's another one. Stevens deals. Henry lines that to the shortstop. Fielded cleanly on a hop. Throw to first is in time. So good at bat for Mason Henry. But all it ends is an out. Pleasant Grove's 10th straight inning without a hit. That brings up Hudson Banks for the bottom of the second inning. We'll stay here once again. And we'll talk about that offensive struggle a little bit. Pleasant Grove was facing some guys that had been lit up throughout the year. And as we talked about, Stevens has been kind of an off and on pitcher. He's been lit up a couple times, but he's also had really good outings, as we talked about. His last time out, 5 innings, 1 earned. But Pleasant Grove's offense has been, I don't want to say helpless, but it's been a lot of contact, but it's been a lot of weak contact has been the issue. 1 strikeout today, and it was in that last inning as we saw. But the last game against American Fork, in which they got no hit, only 1 out as well, 1 strikeout as well. So they haven't been striking out, but they haven't been getting quality contact. So you just kind of have to ask the question of what is the issue. And as Coach Henry talked after the game, he kind of pinned it on just not playing the type of baseball they need to. Henry talked about how if you can get in front of the off-speed pitches and work them to the corners and then hit those fastballs right up the middle, that's going to put you in a good spot. But Pleasant Grove looks like Pleasant Grove entirely up and down the lineup 1 through 9 has looked kind of in between on the off-speed and the fastball. And for Banks, who's on the mound now, he's not a guy you can be in between, because if you're in between, you're swinging and missing. You're not fouling anything off. You don't even have a hope to foul anything off. But Banks facing his 5th man, and it's the catcher for the Pioneers. As he takes a pitch inside, 1-0. It's Mnookin at the dish. Wearing number 15 today. Banks deals the 1-0 and swung over 1-1. Banks' fastball has looked really good so far with the limited action we've seen, just 5 batters. This is his 5th. Banks is 1-1. Wolfgram couldn't bring that one in. Banks thought that was a strike. Wolfgram did too. Banks is going to step off and take a breath before he gets back on the mound. For a 2-1. As Banks kicks and fires. Pitch outside, 3-1, and Pleasant Grove is not happy, neither the fans nor the coaches. So just like that, a 3-1 for Banks. And that pitch foul, back count moves full for Mnookin. It's Peterson and Brown are the next 2 Pioneers we'll see, both of them for sure in this inning. And then it would be Heaps and Yates before we turn back over to Ozzie Williams. Banks says full count. Strike 3, he got him. Mnookin was walking towards first, and the umpire sends him back to the dugout with Banks' 2nd strikeout of the day. That's a big pick-me-up pitch. After a couple pitches didn't go his way, Banks stayed composed on the mound. That's a mature at-bat for the pitcher, that is. So Peterson takes inside, 1-0. Banks is 1-0. Foul back, 1-1. That's about all you can do with these fastballs is foul them back. Got a lot of velocity on it. There's ball number 2 into Peterson. 2-1. This is a big pitch here. Banks deals the 2-1. That pitch line into left center. That's going to drop. Rounding first, going to second, and then putting on the brakes and heading back. Peterson with the 2nd hit of the game for the Pioneers. And the first hit with real power. The first one was just an infield single that just kind of ate up Smith. But that brings up Brown, the right fielder, with Peterson on first. Banks deals towards the plate, and there's strike 1, 0-1. Wouldn't be surprised to see him check on Peterson once or twice. That's the runner on first. And there he goes, back in time. That was the second hit of the day by the Pioneers. Banks kick steals. That pitch popped up, foul out of play. 0-2. Brown at the dish. Heaps on deck. That's the right fielder and first baseman respectively, excuse me. As Banks has an 0-2 with the guy at the plate. Banks, he'll check on first, back in time. I think these guys know not to take a very big lead against a guy like Banks. The 0-2, Banks goes towards the plate. That pitch lined. Henry can't get to it. Smith is just going to get the out at first. So 2 outs now in this inning as Peterson moves into scoring position.
Now back to the Pioneers, the first baseman, number 11, Heaps.
And Heaps gets ready to take the plate. Pleasant Grove's going to move to a normal depth after going to double play depth for that last hitter. The outfield playing normal. No shift. Heaps, the 8th batter of the day for the Pioneers. Banks deals. That pitch grounded foul towards Pleasant Grove's dugout. So 0-1 count for Heaps. The runner on second is Peterson. Banks deals. That pitch in the dirt, 1-1. It's not dirt here. Just like Pleasant Grove, it's turf. Banks is 1-1. He'll step off, chase the runner back to second. Banks deals the 1-1. Cut on a miss. Strike 2, 1-2. It's that overpowering fastball, and when you bring it high, it's hard for a hitter to lay off of, but almost equally as difficult for a hitter to get to. Banks has an 0-2 now. Here he comes. That pitch is low, 2-2. Scoreboard says 1-2. That's where the misconception came from. It's my fault. But it is a 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. Banks deals to Heaps. Strike 3 sits him down. The 3rd of the day for a Hudson Banks, who is very happy. So Lehi leaving 2 on base, but that leaves us to the top of the 3rd inning, where the bottom of Pleasant Grove's order will come up. We'll see Bennett, Scow, and Baxter next on PGSN. So Pleasant Grove bringing up the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in their lineup. Nash Bennett, the lefty, and then Slater Scow and Jacob Baxter. And they're hoping we can see Smith this inning. Hopefully they can get some traffic on the base paths. And that all starts here with Nash Bennett. His last appearance was pinch hitting for Slater Scow in that second game against American Fork. In the 7th inning, Bennett got on base with a walk, but ultimately Pleasant Grove lost that game 5-2. Bennett gets the 1-0 outside. Count moves 2-0. Stevens on the mound. Oh, it's Stevenson who drops in a strike. The 2-1 for Bennett as Stevenson deals. That pitch in there for strike 2. Two as Stevenson deals. Bennett lines that one up the middle and gobbled up by the shortstop throwing to first. What a play by Madsen. One that looked like it was going to sneak through and give Pleasant Grove their first hit in a long time. No such luck for Nash Bennett and the Vikings offense. As that brings up Slater Scow, the right fielder. As Stevenson deals, low, 1-0. Last time out for Scow, 0-2. Oh, excuse me. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He also got hit, so one of the few Vikings to reach base. Stevenson deals. That one brought back in for a strike, 1-1. Pleasant Grove got no hit last Friday against American Fork. Still yet to record a hit today. It's a bad stretch for an offense. That goes without saying. As Stevenson deals, Scow sends it foul. 1-2. It's just so hard to diagnose the issue with Pleasant Grove offensively because they've only struck out twice in the last 2 games, through 2 in the 3rd innings today, and all 7, or 5, I guess, as Stevenson deals in the dirt. They got mercy ruled that no-hit, that no-hitter. But it's been a tough outing for Pleasant Grove offensively. Stevenson deals. Scow chops it foul once again. So keep the count at 2-2. Stevenson looks in for a 2-2. And he deals strike 3. Just as I'm talking about Pleasant Grove not striking out. That's my fault, Slater. As down on strikes for Slater Scow, that brings up Jacob Baxter. Here in the top of the 3rd inning, still knotted up at 0. Stevenson is wheeling and dealing on the mound as he drops that one in for a strike. Baxter has got a little bit of a yellow theme to him today. Yellow arm sleeve, yellow gloves, as the umpire tells Pleasant Grove's dugout to be quiet. Yellow gloves and then a yellow wrap on the bat as well. The 0-1 from Stevenson. Baxter lines that one to center field, and coming in and making the catch is the center fielder Yates. That's who we'll see at the top of this, at the bottom half of this inning, top of the order. It's 9-1-2 for the Pioneers as Banks comes out. Banks is the ace of Pleasant Grove's pitching staff this year. Last year's pitching staff, Braden Marks, pitching for Hawaii now. They talked about him on KSL.com with a little bit of an article. But he has been great so far for the Rainbow Warriors. Started out a little cold at the beginning of the season, but he's only got better. And as Coach Henry said, he's a workaholic. And he is a man that has been a very, very good addition to this Rainbow Warriors squad this season. as he picked up his first collegiate win last week. The Pleasant Grove native who played for this very team just a year ago, Braden Marks. Good to see him have some success in college, and the man who's following up is the ace of this Pleasant Grove pitching staff. Is the man that is also going to be pitching for a college next season. Hudson Banks going to Salt Lake Community College to be a star on their mound, as he's out for his third inning of work. He'll face Yates, Ozzie Williams, and Madsen. Yates, the 9 batter, playing center. He made the catch to end the last inning. It wasn't an easy one. It was well hit by Baxter. But he came up to make the catch. So Yates steps in. Banks is always ready. He kicks, deals. Bunt is shown. There's strike 1. We'll see if they keep it on, as Wilson's going to stay in on the grass. Henry's all but on the grass. Banks is 0-1. As he kicks, deals. No bunt this time. In the dirt, 1-1. So a 1-1 count for Yates, as Wolfgram can't bring that one in for a strike. 2-1. And Banks is not very happy with the way this game has been umpired so far. Stepped off the mound a couple times to take a deep breath. So a 2-1 for Banks as he deals. That pitch lined to center field, excuse me. Coming on making the catch is Gabe McCoy, his first defensive put out. And that brings up Ozzie Williams. He got on with a leadoff infield single. He's batting .450. Now that number is higher on the season. He'll be followed by Madsen, who's batting .521, and then behind him is Cooper Williams, who's batting .375. So the 3 best hitters on Lehi in terms of average are the next 3 that Banks will face. As he deals high, 1-0. He got all of them, but this man out the first time. As a 1-0 from Banks is in there for strike 1. Count moves 1-1. Banks with the 1-1. Pitch is high and maybe outside, 2-1. As Banks is 2-1. Is in the dirt. Count moves 3-1. Williams is not a guy you want to get on. We talked about earlier how he is a speed threat. But man, is he really good at getting on base. A 621 OBP. 609 for Madsen, who's behind him. 483 for Williams, who's behind both of them. Banks is 3-1. Is lined up the middle. Baxter fields. Throw to first. Gets him with a good stretch by Henry. That gets the second out of this inning. And that brings up a guy who might be even better, Mays Madsen, .521 average on the season. And a 609 OBP. Those are amazing numbers. And even better, he's playing short. Banks kicks, deals. There's strike 1. Fastball is just so hard to put the barrel to, both with its velocity, and then Banks has really improved the placement on it throughout this season. As Madsen skies that one to left field. Bennett loses his hat, but the ball goes foul. So an 0-2 count now. Madsen also plays on the football team. Plays wide receiver. Banks is 0-2. Skied foul and not a play. Madsen, he's small. He's 5'7", 139 pounds. But very, very good, as I've talked about. Banks goes high and tight, 1-2. .9 miles an hour is Wolfgram. Maybe if he had caught that one, might have been able to get strike 3. Instead, the count moves to 2-2. Madsen, almost 20 miles an hour is his speed as he rounds those bases. That's what makes him, it's one of the things that makes him such a tough out. Banks is 2-2, deals. Strike 3, cut on and missed. The 4th K through 3 innings. And a dominant performance from Hudson Banks so far. See if Pleasant Grove's offense can give him some support next on PGSN. Stevenson's faced the minimum so far, meaning it's Pleasant Grove's top of the order. Smith, Wilson, Wolfgram, 1-2-3 here in this inning. Stevenson got them all out the first time he faced them. And in this order, it was a ground out, and a fly out. That was all in the first inning. Drew Smith trying to end a hitless drought for Pleasant Grove. As we're moving fast here, top of the 4th inning, still knotted up at 0. Big region matchup here as Pleasant Grove and Lehi very close in the standings, 4-2, 3-3. In that opposite order, Smith skies that one foul, meaning that Lehi's 4-2, Pleasant Grove 3-3. A lot of brooms in Pleasant Grove's path so far region-wise. One of them was held by them, one of them was put to them. The 0-1 from Stevenson, outside 1-1. A 1-1 for Smith, who's been very, very good offensively. He takes in the dirt, 2-1. Smith this season batting a solid .288, and that time grounded to third, gobbled up, throw on to first, pulls him off the bag. Smith dives under it. It's a throwing error by the third baseman, but it's a runner. And Pleasant Grove's got to be happy about that. It was a throwing error by the third baseman, Williams. He'll actually lead off the next inning, or the bottom half of this one. Stevenson deals to Wilson, who lines that one over. A jumping second baseman. There's Pleasant Grove's first hit. Smith is being held at third. It's runners on the corners, and Pleasant Grove's offense feels alive. That's a big weight lifted off Pleasant Grove's shoulders. That breaks a long spell. Over 10 innings of hitless ball. And finally, Wilson breaks it with a single to right center. And Pleasant Grove's threatening. Runners on first and third with Wolfgram.
Your pitch, 21, your pitch.
He flew out his first time up. Stevenson on the mound. Kicks, deals. Low and outside, 1-0. It's Smith on third, Wilson on first. These are the guys, these are the moments that you see this top of the Pleasant Grove order and you say, this is what they can do. These are the situations they can set up for each other. And that's exactly what happens here. Smith just finds a way to get on, and that's all you got to do with the guys behind you. Stevenson's 1-0. Skied, it'll stay in play. Drifting back. And making the catch. Smith thought about tagging up, but he retreats back to third. RJ does tag up amid the confusion, so now there's 2 runners in scoring position. It's a risky move by Wilson to move up. But 2 runners in scoring position for Gabe McCoy. In his first game back, he struck out earlier on a call he didn't like. See if he can come through here in the top of the 4th inning. CJ Anderson on deck. And the double play feels like it's off. Stevenson drops one outside, 1-0. I want to go back a couple, guys. That was just a great at-bat by Wilson. Taking the pitch he wanted, driving it. As McCoy drives that one foul and out of play, 1-1. But Wilson just drove it to right center field. It found a gap and advanced a runner from first to third and got Wilson on himself. So a positive at-bat for RJ, who you kind of felt was struggling just a little bit. I mean, all of Pleasant Grove's offense was, but Stevenson with the 1-1. And 1 out here in the top of the 4th. He deals. McCoy fouls it back to move the count 1-2. Man, it is a beautiful day out here. We're going to have one just as nice tomorrow, but it might be even nicer back in Pleasant Grove. Stevenson with a 1-2, 1 out. He deals. Strike 3. McCoy 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in his return thus far. And that brings up CJ Anderson with 2 runners in scoring position. This is a big spot for him. If you're Pleasant Grove, you kind of feel like you can't waste this opportunity. It's the first one you've had in so long, really since the 7th inning of that second American Fork game. And that was in large part due to CJ Anderson. He grounded out his first time up. Mason Henry on deck. Stevenson deals. Anderson takes strike 1, 0-1. It's Smith on third, Wilson on second. They led off the inning, reaching on an error and a single respectively. And then Wolfgram fouled out. You just saw McCoy strike out. Stevenson's 0-1, low 1-1. Anderson batting from the left-handed side. Wilson, who has the only hit of the day for Pleasant Grove, hit from the same side. Stevenson deals. Anderson lines that one up the middle. Base hit! That will score 2. Anderson with a 2-out, 2-run single. What a hit for C.J. Anderson. What a mature at-bat for a guy who started the game, not started the season, wondering how much varsity playing time he was going to get. He comes through in a huge way as he brings home R.J. Wilson and Drew Smith. Those are the at-bats. That's what Coach Henry was talking about. None of you guys were there, but that's what Coach Henry was talking about after the last game against American Fork, after Pleasant Grove got shut out, mercy ruled, no hit, swept by their rivals, the lowest you can be in a season. As Henry shoots that one to center field, running back, and can't make a tough catch. Anderson's going to round third. Mason Henry slides into second. He's there in time. Anderson slides. He's safe from first to home. It's a 2-out double for Mason Henry, and he brings a run home. Just lining one over the head of the center fielder, and Henry is pumped up on second, and Pleasant Grove with a 3-run lead now. And that brings up Nash Bennett, the 7-hole. up for Pleasant Grove. And that's going to bring out the Pioneer manager. And Pleasant Grove's dugout is pumped. Their first lead in a game in a while. Stevenson's going to stay in the game. They're just going to talk to him. But Pleasant Grove opened this inning hitless in 10 straight innings. They have 3 in this one, and that's the same number of runs they've played it as well. Wilson came across, Smith came across, both on a single by Anderson, and then Anderson went from first to home on a double that went over the head of the center fielder, Yates. And now Pleasant Grove working with a lead. You think Banks has got to feel good coming out of the dugout after this one. Now that he's got some run support. Pleasant Grove didn't give him any last week. But Stevenson stays on the mound. He's going to face Bennett. Bennett, another lefty. That's the 2 guys with singles this inning. That's the side that they hit on. That's Wilson and Anderson. As Stevenson deals low and outside, 1-0. Wanted to talk about, I believe it was Anderson's hit. Just lining it straight back up the middle. And that's all you can ask for. And then Henry, he also went up the middle, but he skied it towards center and put enough power on it to get over Yates. Those are some really good at-bats as Bennett lines one up the middle. Henry rounds third. He's coming home. Bennett with a 2-out, 1 RBI single. And boy, does Pleasant Grove feel good now. Everybody hits. As the 4th hit of this inning for Pleasant Grove. And they keep going up the middle. And that brings up Slater Scow, who struck out earlier today. Man, does this have to feel good for Pleasant Grove. Stevenson deals. Low and outside, 1-0. Henry came in from second on that play. So 4-0 now for Pleasant Grove as Bennett picks up an RBI. They'll check on Bennett. He's back in time. That's Bennett's 2nd RBI of the season and Mason's 9th run. So Stevenson feels like he's hit a wall. And it might have all started with Smith reaching on an error. Stevenson deals. Scow fouls that one back, 1-1. And the first baseman, Heaps, was pretty confident that he got Smith as Smith dove towards first. But Stevenson has to work through it, a 1-1, 2 outs. He deals to Scow, who fouls it back 1-2 here in the top of the 4th inning. Stevenson, 1-2, 2 outs. Bennett is on first. He's picked up an RBI. Stevenson deals low and outside. They give Bennett second base as he moves into scoring position. Moves over on a free pass. No throw attempted. Baxter on deck. Stevenson deals. Scow pops that one up. It's going to stay in play. And no play made by a diving first baseman. That was Heaps. Kind of landed in between Hips and Manukin. And neither of them could really make a play, so Scow's at bat stays alive. Bennett's on second. He singled and then stole a base. He's got an RBI this inning. Anderson picked up 2. Henry picked up 1. That's how Pleasant Grove got their 4. Stevenson's 1-2. See, kicks, deals in the dirt, 2-2. Bennett moves back to second. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. Stevenson trying to stop the bleeding. I was wrong, it was a full count. Scout takes his base. Full count with 2 outs. So that's Jacob Baxter. Stevenson opens Baxter up outside. Count moves 0-1 with a strike. Baxter with the 0-1. Low and outside, 1-1. So Pleasant Grove, 4 hits, 1 man reached on an error, 1 man's walked. There's runners on first and second with 2 outs. They've already plated 4 this inning. Stevenson deals. Baxter chops that one to third. Diving stop. He'll take the force at third. As that does it, but Pleasant Grove scores 4 before Stevenson can stop the bleeding. 4 hits, 1 walk, 1 error, and 4 runs. Banks takes the mound with run support for the first time in a while. It's got to feel good for him. But he cannot take the foot off the gas here. He has a tough, tough lineup. Coming up, he'll face Williams, Drakulich, and then Manukin. Williams is always a threat to get on. Drakulich, same deal, and then Manukin's kind of the power hitter in the Lehi lineup. He leads the team in home runs. He's the only man that has more than 1. But Banks was in that dugout for a while. Said one thing about how we were cruising, and just like that, Pleasant Grove decided to stop the 1, 2, 3 innings, and boy, does it feel good. So the top of the order will lead off for Pleasant Grove in the top of the 5th. Of course, that 5th inning will be brought to you by GK Jared. But Banks has got 3 outs before we head there. There's a little bit on the line here with how Banks does. He doesn't know this, but I told GK before the game, I'm sure he'll bring it up too, depending on how this inning goes, but I told GK that if Banks goes a complete game, whether that be 5 innings, 6 innings, however long, 7, 8, 7, 7's the max. We'll top it off at 7. Banks pitches the entire game and allows 1 earned run or 0 earned runs. Buzz and Bleach, I'll follow GK with it. We know he's doing it, but he'll get me to do it too. I don't think my mom knew that yet, so we'll see if she texts me angrily, but sorry. That brings up Williams, Drakulich, Manukin, 3, 4, 5 in the Pioneers order. Banks slowed down a little bit after sitting in the dugout for a little bit. He opens this inning with a strike. That one fouled back by Williams. Cooper Williams batting .375 on the year, .483 OBP. He has a homer as well. Banks deals the 0-1 outside, 1-1. Williams has 14 runs as well. That's 3rd on the team. And 15 RBIs. So he takes a pitch in the dirt. Count moves 2-1. For Banks and the Vikings. They're up 4-0 here after an offensive explosion in the top half of this inning. Banks is 2-1. Kicks, deals. Foul back 2-2. Kind of shocked that he got bat on ball somehow. That's a tough ball to make contact with. Which means a couple things. Cooper's a good hitter, but it was a good pitch by Banks as well. A 2-2 for Banks on the mound. So he deals. High, count moves full. Drakulich stands waiting. Banks struck out Williams in the 1st inning. The full count. is shot foul out of play. We'll do it again. Banks, he's just so electric on the mound, both with the way he pitches and then the way he carries himself. He'll jump, he'll leap. Full count from Banks. Fouled off. So we'll do it again. The 8th pitch of this at-bat incoming. As Williams won't go down easy. And for Pioneer fans, they're hoping Williams won't go down. Banks is full count. He deals. That pitch fouled back towards Pleasant Grove's dugout. Not sure who grabbed it, but good hands. And we'll do it again. Williams refuses to go down. Full count. Cut on a miss. Strike 3, the 5th of the day for Banks as he wins a battle against Cooper Williams. The 2nd time he struck him out today, and that brings up Drakulich. That at bat accounted for a 6th of Hudson Banks' pitches throughout this entire game. He's about to throw his 55th. He threw 9 in that at bat. Banks deals. There's strike 1 in on Drakulich. He's batting cleanup today and playing left defensively. The righty wears number 9. Banks is 0-1. Served. Kind of in no man's land. That one is going to be caught by McCoy, who comes charging in. The 2nd out of this inning. And that brings up Mnookin, the catcher. The power threat, 5 homers on the season. He's batting 5th. He also has 18 hits, which is tied with Williams for 2nd on the team, only behind Madsen. And he's done a great job behind the dish so far today. Banks deals in the dirt, 1-0. Wolfgram's going to use the same ball, 1-0. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Pleasant Grove defending a 4-0 lead. Banks kicks, deals. Foul back, 1-1. Pleasant Grove with black tops, gray bottoms, and the black hats. Lehi with purple, a lighter purple, and white. So a 1-2 count as Banks drops a strike in. He shakes off Wolfgram. I think if you're Hudson, you want to challenge him with the high fastball. Comes in low fastball, strike 3. 6th strikeout of the day through 4 innings. Banks is scoreless. I'm good. Thank you. Banks is scoreless through 4. Pleasant Grove up 4-0. As only 2 hits allowed by Banks, 6 strikeouts, and most importantly, hasn't issued a free pass. This 5th inning brought to you by GK Jarrett as we wait for his exit from the dugout, wherever he comes from. But man, Pleasant Grove's offense caught fire in that last half inning. Offensively, it was the top of the order who really started it, and it's the top of the order who will start this inning off. We'll see 1, 2, 3, Smith, Wilson, Wolfgram for Pleasant Grove. And it's a very, very talented top of the order. They went 1 through 9 last time. In my opinion, not batting around. I feel like if Smith had come up again, that's batting around. As we welcome our boy, GK Jarrett. Of course, he makes sizable donations to my bank account to be able to come on here.
What did you say?
When's the next donation hitting, GK?
I'm not sure.
Hopefully soon. I want a drink. I want a Dr. Pepper or something after this game. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But Pleasant Grove with a 4-0 lead. GK, I don't think you came from the dugout today. But how are the vibes in the dugout?
Obviously good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Obviously much better.
I was by the Lehi dugout, but you could see how our dugout was, and holy, riled up.
How's the Pioneers dugout feeling? Because Stevenson he was throwing a perfect game going into that 4th inning, and then kind of got hit around a little bit. He's out on the mound again here for the top of the 5th.
They're not feeling good.
Stevenson lines that one. Smith lines it to left field as he hits a leadoff single. He started things off in the last inning, reaching on an error. Start things off in this one with a hit. Smith, did you see his celebration?
What was it? I forgot.
Took off the helmet. Took a
yeah,
kneel.
Yeah.
I think he's happy to be in Pleasant Grove. Happy to have him here. As that brings up R.J. Wilson. Stevenson opens him up with a ball, 1-0.
Maybe that's better.
That's better.
I can't hear you, though.
Oh.
That much.
Well, that would be that.
Oh,
Smith goes. Now caught in a rundown as he falls on his face. Just tripped a little bit. So the first out for Pleasant Grove this inning on the base path. So Smith didn't have Stevenson timed up like he thought he did. How's Banks feeling?
Fired up.
Through 4 really good ones.
He has to feel fired up. Because someone named Alan Judson's going to buzz their head.
Stevenson deals. High and outside, 2-0.
I think somehow he heard that.
He probably did. He's got good ears. He's got big feet, so probably
That is also true.
got big ears. In a nice way, Hudson. The 2-0. Outside, 3-0 for Wilson. So he's quickly up in this count. We'll see if they let him swing away after the mound visit is over. Stevenson meeting with his catcher, Manukin.
I'm excited to see this.
He's still got 3 more innings, GK.
I know. I shouldn't be talking
We
earlier.
talked earlier. I think the hardest part will be for Pleasant Grove to let him go the entire game. I think that's going to be the hardest part, is for him to get all 7 innings. Stevenson deals the 3-0. Drops in for a strike, 3-1.
So if they take him out in the 6th, let's just say,
No.
is the bet off?
Yeah.
Wow.
I said a complete game.
Absolute wow.
The 3-1 for Stevenson. His foul back count moves full with 1 out here. Wilson singled last time and has grounded out today. Yeah, I said a complete game. A bet's a bet.
Okay. Yeah, that is true. That's a bet.
Stevenson, full count. Wilson stays alive. I don't know if we're allowed to say bet in high school. A deal's a deal.
Dang,
I think
slam
that's what
it.
we'll say. Full count pitch to Wilson once again. Stevenson deals. God, on a miss, strike 3. Wilson goes down on strikes.
Good swing, good swing.
As that brings up to a Wolfgram. He's done a great job behind the dish today. He's flown out twice. You do that
Every time. Every time.
Yeah, it's definitely something. It's something for sure.
It's something. The 5th inning. Huh.
5th inning
5th inning.
by G.K. Jared. Stevenson deals to Wolfgram high and tight, 1-0.
Weather's beautiful today.
It is. It is great weather. I am tanning. Can you tell? This is probably a weird topic for our viewers, but can you tell that I'm tan?
Yeah.
Like, it's a night and day difference from the beginning of baseball season to now. Like, I know that probably is just really weird thing to talk about to anyone who, like, doesn't see me very often. But, like, it's different. I like it. The 1-1. Wolfgram lines that one to left. There's a single. A 2-out hit by Wolfgram. His first of the day. And that brings up Gabe McCoy. It was a 2-out rally last time for Pleasant Grove. Last time they led off an inning with the top of the order. Let's see if they can do it again.
Okay, here we go. Rate the jerseys. Oh, there we go.
Well, I'm torn with Pleasant Grove. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I don't think they have them. But when Brock let me know the fit they were wearing today, I thought they had black pants.
No, I'm talking about Lehi. Lehi.
I'm talking about Pleasant Grove. We're starting with Pleasant Grove.
All right, Pleasant Grove. That's a 10.
I said it's hard to mess up a blackout. It is hard to mess up a blackout, but like, is this a blackout for Pleasant Grove? You got the black hat, black shirt, but you don't got the black pants. Black pants is an easy 10.
Yeah. Yeah, probably 8.5 maybe.
But yeah, 8.5. Still the best jersey game in the state.
Oh yeah, by far.
But Stevenson, he'll check on Wolfgram, who's back in time. But for Lehi, I know I told you beforehand that I love them. I don't know if I like them as much because every time I feel like it's supposed to be like a baby blue, but Lehi edition, and I just don't think you can beat baby blue.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Wolfgram goes. McCoy swings and misses. They'll give Wolfgram the base. Oh, he went back.
Oh, he went back.
Tricked me.
I like them. I like them.
I don't mind the color. I'm just saying they're not to the
Different.
level.
It's different from what you see.
Yeah, and I like the difference, and they're easy to look at, which is usually Wolfgram goes this time. Pitch outside. Wolfgram is safe. Stolen base for Wolfgram as he moves into scoring position with a 1-2 count for McCoy.
I'll give him a solid 7.5.
Usually when teams try to do something different, like the Red Sox with their Boston Marathon jerseys, they're just hard to look at.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to Red Sox fans, go Yankees, but like that yellow, like it's just hard to look at. Wolfgram goes again. McCoy fouls it. It's going to stay in play, and it drifts out of play. Wolfgram will give McCoy a high five at home before he goes back to second. But again, like if you're going top to bottom, this lighter purple color, then it's a 10.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that's not my favorite with baseball is switching up the top compared to the bottom. And obviously in high school, it's not as easy to have 5 different jerseys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stevenson's 1-2. Cut on a miss. McCoy is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in his return. GK, how do you feel about that? McCoy, obviously it's his first game back in a long time, but has not been producing at the plate.
It takes time.
I agree. I don't think it'll be an issue.
Yeah, it won't be an issue. No.
Oh, Mr. Brightside. What are your thoughts on Mr. Brightside?
It's a prom song right here.
A prom song? I feel like this is just a classic.
Yeah, this is a classic too, but they play it at dances too much.
Yeah.
They didn't play it at prom. They did not play it. Or did they?
I think they did.
Really?
I don't know. I showed up late to the dance.
Yeah, I did too.
We had to get a sweet treat beforehand.
What did we do? How was your prom?
My prom was good, GK.
That's good.
It was a very good experience.
That's good.
How was your prom?
It was fun. It was really fun. My group was fun. My date was fun. It was just all over great. It was different. It was different because I'm friends with her. It was just a good time.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of exactly how I'd explain mine. So yeah. I feel like overall it was a very good showing for Pleasant Grove prom, just in general. Saw our boy Hudson Banks there. What'd you think of him in a vest? I wish we had a picture to put up on the.
I loved him.
On the broadcast.
I took a picture with him and it was the best.
But Banks threw 4 very strong innings so far.
We have a pitcher in the bullpen for Lehi, number 1.
It's Cooper Lewis?
I don't know.
That's a joke, by the way. It's a basketball season. Did you see, actually, kind of Pleasant Grove sports news, Quincy Lewis stepped down as the head coach at Lehi basketball.
Really? He's
staying at Lehi strictly as an athletic director, but he will not be coaching the team next year.
Interesting.
It's Cade Bailey, who's up in the bullpen for the Pioneers. We talked about it with American Fork. What are your thoughts on the backdrop for the Pioneers?
I like it.
I think if you just look at right field, it's the best in the region.
Yeah.
But left field kind of ruins it. Just the Big O tires just does not hit the same for me as that pitch is in the dirt.
No, I like the right field, though. It gives me like a MLB vibe that you would see, like, I don't know, like the Pirates have the
1-1, cut on it.
The bridge.
Yeah. It's just something different. Like, it's something that you're not going to see in any other stadium, but it's unique. It means something to Lehi. as it's the Lehi Roller Mills, and kind of a historic thing as the 1-1 is fouled back. Wow. That actually might have been the closest I've been to jumping all season, and that one wasn't even close. Banks was not okay with that throw. You know when you're playing basketball and like you feel like you get fouled and the other guy like throws it to you, but it's like not close enough for you just to grab it, so you like make him run and go get it? I feel like that's what Banks might have done there. Love the guy.
Love the guy.
1-2. That one's lined to left center field, and that's going to drop for a leadoff hit. Peterson rounds first. He's going to second. Finally grabbed by McCoy, who throws it into Baxter. Peterson stops with a leadoff double, just the third hit of the day by the Pioneers. But a runner in scoring position as that brings up Brown. It's one run. He can allow one run. As Banks with the runner in scoring position now, nobody out, navigated this exact same scenario in the first inning with a couple well-timed strikeouts. But he's facing a guy who doesn't like to strike out in Brown.
That was the best moment in PGSN history, just barely.
High cheddar.
Wow.
I feel like Vaughn, I like Vaughn, but I feel like could go through a couple. I don't think I would crown that the best moment in Pleasant Grove Sports Network history. I hiked Timp this year. Gosh dang it, GK.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Count moves 0-2 for Banks.
We should ask Duff if he's going to.
Well, it's a senior tradition, so you get to, too.
Yeah, I'll be out of state, though. The whole year.
Oh. Womp womp.
Switching to online now. Moving.
Banks, 0-2. High cheddar, the throw to second. Runners back in time. What would you say is the play of the game so far?
All the runs that we scored.
Well, you get to pick one.
No, all of them.
I play. So those are the plays of the game. Like, what was the most important?
CJ's.
Okay, I agree. Banks is 1-2. Foul back, out of play. 1-2 will stay.
Because you have to remember, he's a relief hitter.
Yeah.
And he comes up and
I don't know if relief hitter is a good word. Anderson has had a great season.
Yeah, that is true.
My he's kind of played himself into the lineup.
Yeah.
As you kind of feel like there are a couple guys.
Let me rephrase that. He started as a reliever.
Strike 3 for Banks.
Started as a reliever and then starting his way into the lineup.
So here's the question for you. As it stands now, who would you, let's say game ends after this inning.
Yes.
Who wins the prestigious Player of the Game award, CJ Anderson or Hudson Banks?
Ooh. That's a hard one.
Yeah, because Banks is at 7 strikeouts, no walks.
Yeah.
Obviously, this inning's not over.
I'd probably give it to Hudson.
Lehi's in a place to do some damage.
Give it to Hudson.
Here's Heaps. I'm going to disagree. I think it goes to Anderson almost regardless of how Banks pitches today.
Interesting.
Because not only did Anderson, he kind of broke Pleasant Grove's offense, he kind of woke him up.
Yeah, that is true.
And it was, we'll talk about that in a second as that pitch fouled back out of play, 0-1. But that pitch, that hit by Anderson was just huge.
Yeah.
Pleasant Grove had one hit in the last 10 or so innings, and that was by Wilson, 2 batters prior. And then Anderson brought across the first runs in a long time. Did he go? No, he did not. 1-1. But Anderson brought through the first runs in a while for Pleasant Grove, and then came around to score himself first to home on Henry's double. As here's the 1-1. Pitch foul back, 1-2. I feel like Anderson's hit was so huge offensively.
Guess what?
No. I feel bad for the day when you actually have something to say after that.
Yeah.
And it's just awkward silence on the broadcast.
I know.
1-2, 1 out. Banks kicks, deals. Low and inside. Wolfgram keeps the runner where he was.
No, I was going to say guess what, and then you say what, and then I was going to tell you that up there has a great view of the game.
Did you go up there?
Yeah, I got a few clips up there. It was actually really nice.
He's talking about the back of the football bleachers are kind of backed up to this baseball field. And so I feel like it would be a pretty good view.
Yeah,
I think it would be a good place to broadcast from, actually.
Yeah.
The 2-2. Skied. It's going to stay in the infield. Baxter Oh, it's the shallow outfield. And McCoy comes all the way over from center to make the catch. Think his hamstring's feeling okay?
I think so.
Second out of this inning. Banks might actually make me do it. I'm starting to realize that. I mean, I really didn't have a doubt.
We're doing it tonight.
We're not doing it tonight.
No, we're doing it
I have DECA Nationals on Friday.
Oh, shoot,
I am not buzzing and
is
bleaching
true.
my hair
I forgot
before
about that.
I go to Nationals.
Yeah, I forgot about that. When you come back.
When I come back, sure.
And we'll stream
And
it
after I
on
graduate.
PGSN.
After I graduate from UVU. That pitch low, 1-0.
Streaming on PGSN would be crazy.
We could do it before a game.
Do it before a game, that would be crazy.
Just the buzz part. The bleach would be later.
Yeah.
The 1-0 from Banks. In there for a strike, 1-1. Not a huge fan of that call. Was Yates, the center fielder. You feel a lot better as a Pleasant Grove fan now that you got 4 up on the board, don't you?
Yeah.
Like,
Compared to last week, yes.
it's kind of like a weight off your shoulder. And Banks, man, what a job he's done. Lehi scored 24 runs combined in their last 2 games against Lone Peak, and that's a formidable pitching staff.
I think, no disrespect to any of the other pitchers that come out, but I think Hudson, whenever he comes out to pitch, he brings this different energy.
Yeah, here's the 1-2. That pitch hit softly to right field. Pitch goes foul, so we'll do it again. I can't see down that right field line. I just kind of have to work off people's body language.
Yeah.
What happened? Maybe for the sake of my hair, it wouldn't have been bad for that pitch to be fair. For that hit to be fair.
That was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Thought that was Lejeune in back of us.
We're by the freeway. You could get there relatively quickly.
Mason could hit it to the freeway, I think.
Yeah. Base is 1-2. They'll check on the runner at second again. Good job by Smith just to keep that one in the infield.
Right here. Let's go.
So a 2-2, 2 outs for Banks. Did he strike out the last guy?
Yes.
Okay. No, I think I'm right. Just making sure I got my numbers right. Banks deals. Line pass to diving Wilson. That's going to score a run. Rounding third, coming home. Bobbling it in left field is Bennett. All that does is make it easier for Yates to get to second. But Peterson crosses the plate. There's the first run of the game on Banks, and he's got a tough task facing the top of the order, Ozzie Williams. You might have to think, I know you're rooting for him to go all 7, but you kind of got to think if Ozzie gets on here, it might be time to go to the bullpen, just based on the guys that are coming up behind him.
Yeah.
I think if Banks gets out of this inning, just allowing that run, they'll bring him back for the 6th, but
Don't know about 7th.
showing bunt and pulling back is Williams. I don't know if you can,
Go now. You got him. You got him.
if you can justify leaving him out there if there are 2 runners on and the tying run comes to the plate. And that tying run is Mays Madsen. That's the biggest, honestly, that's the biggest part. Banks, 1-0, runner goes. They got him. Oh, no, they didn't.
Wow.
Thought they got him. That's why I'm not an umpire.
I thought they got him.
Nobody hurt. Nobody hurt. Let's get the hitter.
A 2-0. That runner only matters if Williams gets a hit. What is going on behind us? Is it lacrosse?
It's lacrosse.
It's lacrosse? Okay. We've been at schools that have a track meet like every single week.
Yeah, that is true. There's the roller coaster behind us.
It's a kid on a scooter.
Oh.
The 1-1. Low, 2-1. Lehi threatening, especially with Ozzie Williams. 2-1, 2 outs. Banks deals. High, 3-1. As he steps off. A 3-1. There's a strike. Count moves full. Payoff pitch coming in. My computer's hot.
Yeah, that's what I do with the camera. I put it down here.
Payoff pitch here in the bottom of the 5th inning. As it's 4-1 Vikings. Banks deals. Low and outside. He walks Williams. That's the first of the day for Banks, as he's just gotten better throughout the year, not allowing those free passes. And that brings out Mays Madsen. It's just Cap. We'll see if Banks' day is over. GK, do you keep him in?
Of course.
Is that just because you want the bet to?
Yep. No, he's been playing good, though, I think.
He's going to stay in. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. The tying run, Mays Madsen, comes up to the plate. Banks with a great day so far. It's allowed 3 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and 1 run crossed to the plate. That was in this inning. So, GK, you spent a little bit of time around this Pleasant Grove team.
Yeah.
What do you feel about their prospects for the remainder of the season?
Going upwards. Keep going up.
Well, you kind of can't go down.
Yeah.
Banks will check on the runner at first. I don't know if I like that move. I know Banks loves to check on guys, and he's gotten a couple pickoffs, but if that ball gets away, that's another run that scores.
Yeah.
Banks deals. That pitch grounded weakly. It goes foul. So an 0-1 count to Madsen. Madsen's been shut down by Banks so far today. Not something that many pitchers can say they've done against a really, really good hitter.
You okay there?
Yeah, I've had this cough, and that's it.
For
It's
weeks.
just a cough.
For weeks.
Yeah. Banks is 0-1. Is high, 1-1. Wolfgram does a good job keeping that one.
Yeah, I don't think my bet's going to last long. Sorry to say.
There's 2 outs.
Yeah.
There's your silver lining. This is a bet that I don't want to lose, but I don't think you should be anywhere close to giving up hope. Madsen steps out, 1-1. Are they playing PG? Who are they playing?
They're playing Lone Peak, I think.
Can both teams lose? Banks will check on the runner at first. Lone Peak is a team that Pleasant Grove will face next week in a home series. That's Tuesday, Friday in Pleasant Grove. I'll be gone for Tuesday's game. The 1-1, Banks deals. High, 2-1.
I won't be on the 5th, huh?
Huh?
I won't be on the 5th.
No, you have to serve your 2-game suspension
Yeah, my 2 games.
on Friday and Tuesday.
True.
That's what you get for saying you hate AF.
What did you just say?
2-1, runner goes. Wolfgram's gonna check on the runner at third, and that's gonna score a run. Lucky for you though, GK. It's not an earned run. That's gotta be one that Banks just can't be happy with. That's not a mistake that he made. I think Wolfgram was more concerned with the double steal, which first of all is, if you're Lehi,
I would just leave
frankly
it.
dumb decision with 2
Just
outs.
leave it.
But yeah, I feel like if you're Wolfgram,
Just leave it.
Just
Let
hold it.
him, Let him, yeah.
3-0 count, I think is what the umpire's trying to sort out right now. 3-1. 3-1. 3-1 count. So now there's a runner on second.
It's 3-1, by the way, Jess.
Has Banks, kick steals. Pitch fouled back, payoff pitch coming in.
And now it's 3-2.
Good job.
Full count.
Should commentate for him next year.
Watch, ready?
Full count, 2 outs for Banks. I think if you do a prediction, his next fastball will come at your head. So.
Yeah, never mind.
Banks' payoff, kick
Got him.
steals. He walked him.
Ooh.
Second free pass of the day.
I'm sorry, Hudson.
You'll probably have to apologize. Banks waves Henry back to the dugout. He's going to stay in. That brings up Cooper Williams. Cooper's brother, Ozzy. I have to assume they're brothers. Ozzy is on second. And Madsen at first. Go-ahead run at the plate. Banks just stares at him, forces him to take time. Banks, the wind, the kick, the pitch. Drops in there, strike one, 0-1.
No shot.
That one's popped up in the infield. And it goes out of play. 0-2 count for Banks. I feel like this is when you want to throw. He has that, I don't know if it's a changeup or a curveball that just darts out of the zone at the last second down. That's probably the pitch you want to throw here if you're Banks. I don't think you should lay off him at all, even though you're up 0-2 in this count. Williams is at a point where he knows he's got to defend, especially with runners in scoring position. Banks tries a fastball down. Count stays 0-2. But Williams is at a point he knows he's got to defend. You're not going to get an opportunity like this, maybe at all again, against this Pleasant Grove pitching staff, whether it's Banks that comes out for the 6th or Pleasant Grove goes to the bullpen, probably to Austin Connolly in this situation. Banks is 0-2. They don't give him the strikeout. Coach Henry and Mason Henry were both coming out and going towards the dugout their respective ways. But here's a 1-2. Banks deals. Wolfgram.
Just leave it. Leave it.
I don't think he meant to do that, but that's what he does. 2 runners in scoring position now.
He wanted to throw, I think.
You say leave it, and that's because the only out that matters is the guy at the plate.
At the plate, yeah.
And realistically, with their speed, they're probably both scoring on a hit that gets to the gap. Banks is 2-2, kicks, fires. Strike 3, he got him. 8th strikeout of the day. So Banks works himself in and out of a little bit of trouble. Pleasant Grove up 4-2. GK, does he come out on the 6th?
Scored 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 men left on base.
I'm not sure.
That was,
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think he comes out. What do you think?
I don't think so. 12 innings. He pitched a complete game last time out. I don't think you have the opportunity to stretch him. You know, you have the opportunity to say depends on how the offense does this inning. But personally, just looking at it now, if they enter the bottom of the 6th, 4-2. No, I'm changing my answer. Yeah, put Banks out there. If you enter the bottom of the 6th, 4-2.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He has a. You just said you don't think he was coming out.
I said no. He should come out.
Okay.
That's what I said.
I think
my bad.
You make sure he knows that he has a short leash. 1, maybe 2 runners, and he's gone, no matter the circumstances.
Yeah.
But I think you try and ride him as far as you can, because you might have the 3rd game of this series be a bullpen game.
And that bet is still on, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was only 1 earned run. The second one was unearned because it was scored off the throwing error by Wolfgram. So
awesome.
Yeah, you're feeling good about yourself.
Yep.
Let me know if there's anyone in the bullpen.
Yep, will.
Thanks for joining us today, GK. We'll see you tomorrow. 5th inning. Good luck in the bullpen there. Don't look at me that way. That's GK Jared for you. He's buying me Dr. Pepper on the way home. As Lehi turns to the man in the bullpen. It's time for a new pitcher. And that is Cade Bailey. Keaton Nordic is warming up in the bullpen. Doesn't mean he's going to pitch, but wouldn't be surprised if they turn to him. CJ Anderson, who had that big hit in the 4th inning, will lead off this inning. Man, my phone's hot too. Everything's hot. Shouldn't be surprised. I'm just putting stuff in the sun. But Anderson singled and grounded out. As single brought in 2 runs, and then he came around to score himself. Takes a pitch high, 1-0. Mason Henry on deck. And he'll be followed by Nash Bennett. Yes, Nash Bennett. Another pitch high and outside, 2-0. Again, the new man on the mound is Cade Bailey, the sophomore pitcher. In a little bit of a high leverage situation here. Bailey deals and fouled back by Anderson. It's K9 in the bullpen. Bailey with a 2-1. Kicks and deals to Anderson, who fouls that one back 2-2. Should I unmute you? Bailey's 2-2, and it's 2-2. That is 22 at the dish. Bailey steps off. As Pleasant Grove's first baseman, I can't really tell what he's doing, but he's looking out of play. Bailey's 2-2. Outside, count moves full. Yeah, GK called this guy a reserve hitter. He is not a reserve hitter. I mean, we talked about that with GK, but he is putting together quality at-bats as the full count. Anderson lines that. There's a base hit. He dealt with the high cheddar. His second hit of the game so far. CJ Anderson is a guy you cannot take out of the lineup. Mason Henry steps up now. He drove in CJ his last time up with a double. Earlier in the game, he grounded out. Nash Bennett on deck. So Pleasant Grove goes lefty, righty, lefty here in the top of the 5th inning, and that's probably why they brought Bailey in. Bailey deals to Henry outside, 1-0. Oh, they brought it, called it a strike, 0-1. Again, that's why I'm not an umpire. Would probably make more people mad than I would make happy. Bailey's 0-1. As he deals in the dirt, way in front of the plate. Anderson's running. He's safe. As he advances on a wild pitch. Yeah, that was a ball that hit the dirt in front of the batter's box. Solid yard in front of the plate. And that allowed Anderson to move to second. So now a runner in scoring position with nobody out. After the leadoff single, Bailey deals high and tight, way high and tight. I think Mason, I don't know if Mason had a chance to get out of the way of that one. I think he's just lucky it missed him. A 3-1 count now for Henry, as Bailey struggled to control. Bailey's 3-1. He deals in the dirt again. Anderson goes back to second. Was that not ball 4? Oh, now it's ball 4. I don't know if Mason wanted to walk. I think from his body language, it looks like he might have wanted to keep standing in there and take a swing. But that brings up Nash Bennett. He singled in the 4th inning, that explosive first inning for Pleasant Grove. He had an RBI and ended the inning on second base. He also grounded out his first time up in the third inning. An 0-1. As Lehi is going to have a talk with Cade Bailey. Runners on first and second, nobody out. I'm guessing that Bennett's going to square up and bunt to try and move the runners into scoring position. Obviously, we'll have to see. If I'd have to guess, that's where he goes with it at the dish. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Pleasant Grove threatening. They went up 4-0 in the 4th. And then Lehi put 2 back on the board in the bottom of the 5th to make it 4-2. Henry takes his spot at first. Anderson takes his spot at second. Bennett takes his spot at the dish. Bailey hasn't gotten an out yet. Ferguson went 5 innings of 4-run ball. Ferguson, I don't know where that came from. Stevenson, there's a strike. Count moves 0-1 for Bailey. The corners are in, but not dramatically. An 0-1 as Bailey deals. Now Bennett shows bunt.
Good job.
Time is called. Time is called by the second base umpire. So Bennett's going to go back to the plate after it's ruled a foul ball, and he's likely not going to square up to bunt again now that there's 2 strikes. It was a good bunt, well placed, but ultimately he's going to have to do it again after it probably went off his foot. Bailey catches a little bit of a break there as he was about to have bases loaded with nobody out. Bailey's 0-2. Cut on and missed. Strike 3. Bennett didn't run on a dropped third strike, but the guys on the bases did. So Bennett does his job. There's runners in scoring position now. I don't know if that's the way he would have chosen it for it to happen, but runners on second and third, 1 out now for Slater Scow. Scow has walked and struck out. Lehi brings the infield in to try and keep Pleasant Grove from pushing this lead. Henry has a huge lead off second because nobody's really in a position to cover. Bailey yet to deal to Scow. Now he does. That's in there. Strike 1, 0-1. Scow has struggled this season, particularly with the strikeout. Coming into today's game was striking out at a nearly 30% clip. 28.8%. As Bailey deals. Scow lines that one into left field, drifting back. He'll make the catch. Tagging is Anderson, and he will score. It's an RBI for Slater Scow. As Pleasant Grove takes a 5-2 lead as Scow gives Pleasant Grove a little bit of insurance.
Now batting for Pleasant Grove, the shortstop #1, Jacob Baxter.
Scow's RBI. Scow's first RBI. Anderson's second run of the game. 2 runs, 2 RBIs. I think GK might agree with me now that he is squarely in line for player of the game. Baxter at the dish. Smith is not standing in the on-deck circle. We'll see if he comes out at any point in this at-bat. Henry leads off second. 2 outs here. Bailey deals. In the dirt, that's going to advance Henry to third as the catcher could not find it as it went past him. Manukin. Again, the same situation Banks was in. The third base runner does not matter if you get the hitter out. Smith does come out, unsurprisingly, from the dugout. Bailey's got a 1-0. With Baxter at the dish. Bailey deals, drops it in there. 4-strike, 1, 1-1. Bailey rocks, deals. In there for strike 2, 1 and 2. Baxter grimaces at the call. He flew out his first time up, and I don't know what it is about Baxter and just not taking his stats. Baxter chops that one to third. Fielded cleanly, throw on to first. It pulls the first baseman off the bag. Baxter reaches on an error, and Henry comes across the plate. That's Henry's second run of the day. And that brings up Drew Smith for the 4th time. He has singled, reached on an error, and grounded out. So he's found ways to get on. And now Baxter's on first. He's a threat to run. Pleasant Grove matches the bottom of the 5th inning by Lehi. They matched in the top of the 6th. That pitch is a strike for Smith, and he is not very happy with the call. You have a feeling that's one that Pleasant Grove's dugout might have jawed a little more at if they weren't up 4. Bailey's 0-1. He deals. High in sight, 1-1. Lehi in their first season in 6A. Their first Region 3 series against Pleasant Grove. This is technically Pleasant Grove's first season in Region 3. It was Region 4 last year. Baxter's back inside. Smith, the transfer from Westlake, has been a huge addition for this Pleasant Grove team. The 1-1 from Bailey. He's in there for strike 2. He's been a staple at the leadoff spot for Pleasant Grove. We'll see if Baxter runs here with a 1-2 count. 1-2, 2 outs. Baxter on first. Bailey kick steals. That one low, 2-2. Baxter stayed put, so 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. It's 5-2 Pleasant Grove, 6-2 Pleasant Grove. So many runs, I forget about them. Bailey, he'll check on Baxter, who dives back in time. He'll check on him again. This time he doesn't have to dive. Bailey looks in on Smith. In between 2 pickoff attempts. Make it 3. Almost got him. But he's back in time. 3 pickoff attempts since Smith saw his last pitch. Here's a 2-2 from Bailey. Smith skies that one to left field. In between the left fielder and the shortstop, it falls over the shoulder of the shortstop. Baxter is held up at third. Smith reaches second on a little bloop single. He reaches second on an error. That's the second hit of the game for Drew Smith, as he's 2 for 4. Wilson up now. He's singled his first time up, grounded out and struck out. Sorry, the single wasn't his first time up. But that's going to bring out Lehi for the second time this inning. They do have a man in the bullpen. We'll see if they call to him. With Baxter on third, Smith on second, and Wilson up at the dish. They are going to call to him. So Bailey's day is done. He gets through 2/3 of an inning and is responsible for both Baxter and Smith. The man out of the bullpen for the Pioneers is number 4, Trey Hawkins, the senior. On the season, 10 2/3 innings, 360 opponent batting average against, and a 7.22 ERA coming from Hawkins. Apparently this is his first season. But the senior does not have an easy task here with Wilson as the first man. 1 run, no RBIs for Wilson today. On the season, the left-handed third baseman, hitting second most of the time. 9 RBIs, 12 runs, a .294 batting average with a .415 OBP, .490 slug. He's been hit a lot. 9 hit by pitches, accounts for almost a third of Pleasant Grove's total. But very good numbers with a .905 OPS for Wilson. Again, if you have any complaint about him, it's the 19% strikeout rate compared to only a 4.5% walk rate. But Wilson puts the bat on ball and usually results in pretty good things for Pleasant Grove. He's got runners on second and third, Smith and Baxter respectively, as he steps in to the right side of the plate, where the left-handers go.
Rip one, let's go.
We'll see now that Pleasant Grove, there are a couple things that could dictate whether or not Pleasant Grove comes out with Banks. Now that you have a larger lead, you might want to go to a little bit of a lower leverage guy in the bullpen, or you might keep Banks in to try and save the arms. But we'll see. In the bottom of the 6th, there's really no wrong answer in my opinion. As starting him out with a strike is Trey Hawkins. He pitched 2/3 of an inning against American Fork. As there's a drop strike. He gave up 2 runs, both earned in that inning, or that 2/3 of an inning. Hawkins, 1-1, 2 outs. Kick steals in the dirt, 2-1. Baxter stays put. I'm not sure why. That would have been a tough play for Hawkins. But playing it safe here with a 4-run lead. (2-1), McCoy on deck. Or McCoy in the hole, Wolfgram on deck. As Wilson cuts and misses to move the count 2-2. Hawkins, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. He deals low, count moves full for the left-handed Wilson. There's not an easy break in this Pleasant Grove lineup until ever. Hawkins, full count with 2 outs. He deals. Wilson stays alive. Trying to add on to the lead, give Pleasant Grove some insurance runs. Hawkins, payoff pitch. In the dirt, Wilson walks. So that's going to bring up Tua Wolfgram with the bases loaded. Wilson with a good day at the plate. It kind of feels like everyone on Pleasant Grove's had a good day. They've accumulated 8 hits after being hitless through the first 3 innings. Actually, a perfect game was being thrown for the first 3 innings. The minimum had been faced. But now Wolfgram comes up with a chance to bust this game wide open. He's singled and flown out twice here in this game. It's the top of the 6th inning. Vikings 6, Pioneers 2. Hawkins kicks and deals. High, 1-0. McCoy on deck. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in his first game back. Taking a second to get back and get used to the speed. Hawkins, 1-0. In the dirt, 2-0. Baxter runs, and he'll score. It's 7-2 Pleasant Grove. As Baxter comes across. And that moves Smith to second, and Smith to third, Wilson to second, so first base is now open. 2-0 with 2 outs, now 7-2. Top of the 6th inning, Hawkins deals. Wolfgram skies that one to deep left field. Drifting back on the track, on the wall. See you later. 2-0 Wolfgram with a 3-run shot. And this game is wide open. It's 10-2 Vikings. I talked about that Big O tires in left field. They might need to go fix a windshield as Wolfgram sends one into the parking lot, and Pleasant Grove with an 8-run lead. So at this point, you think Wolfgram's mad that he could have had a grand slam? You know, had it not been for that wild pitch? I really don't think he cares, but that might cross his mind. Could have been a grand slam. Probably pretty happy. But he hits McCoy on one pitch. Hawkins, that is. So now a runner on for C.J. Anderson. So it looks like Pleasant Grove's going to pinch run. They don't necessarily want Gabe McCoy with his hurt hamstring. They don't want him to aggravate it. So out of the dugout for Pleasant Grove with a pinch running opportunity on first. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Pleasant Grove has 10. 6 of them coming in the 6th. 4 of them coming in the 4th. American Fork is up 9-6 on Skyridge. Does that mean they'll score 7 in the next one, or how does that work? It's Rex Harward out of the dugout to pinch run. Anderson takes strike 1, 0-1. Hawkins on 1 foot, now he deals. Runner goes, Harward is gonna stay at second after the throw goes past the second baseman. It's a stolen base. Westlake is up on Lone Peak, 4-3. Pleasant Grove will have Lone Peak come there next week. First, they've got an inning and a half and plus 2 games against this Pioneer team. Hawkins with the 1-2. Kicks and deals to Anderson, who skies that one to left field. Running back and making a tough play near the warning track to end the bleeding for the Pioneers, but not before Wolfgram sends one over the fence. Bye-bye Banksy. He comes back out for the 6th inning. We'll step away. Man, oh man, is it a great day at the ballpark. Pleasant Grove 10, Lehi 2 after 5.5. Banks out for his 6th inning of work. If GK wants me to buzz and bleach, Banks is going to have to go all 7 innings and be nearly perfect for the last 6 outs. This could be bad for me. I'm just going to say that. No balls, no strikes, and leading off this inning for the Pioneers is Drakulich. So if Banks wants He could go the whole rest of this game without having to face Ozzie Williams in the top of the Pioneer order. He just has to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in the 6th and 7th, and then I got a buzz and bleach. It's easier said than done, though, as Banks opens up this inning with a ball outside. 1-0. Wolfgram sent a moonshot over the left field fence. And I don't know if he is going to work that magic behind the plate, but there's a strike, 1-1. Banks kicks and deals. That one chopped slowly. Banks fields it himself. Throw to first. Not in time. Henry couldn't glove it. Banks a little slow to that one. And that brings up Manukin. Manukin not necessarily gifted with speed, so Pleasant Grove's going to look to try and get the double play here as they back up second and short. Henry's going to hold on Drakulich, who is gifted with speed, on first. They'll check on Drakulich. I don't know if there's a cooler back-to-back names in an order than Drakulich and Manukin. Banks deals to Manukin in the dirt. 1-0. Wolfgram with a good block to keep it here. And keep Drakulich at first. Keep the double play on. Banks, he'll check on the runner at first. 10-2 Pleasant Grove. Oh, excuse me. After 5.5 innings of play. American Fork up 9-7. Bases are loaded in the bottom of the 5th. Skyridge threatening. Banks. Outside, 2-0. This cough, man. Drakulich on first. They'll check on him again. He's back in time. Banks is 2-0. To Manukin. Kicks, fires. There's strike one, 2-1. Hudson's done a good job of working himself back into counts if he's gotten behind, but man, has he tried to stay out of getting behind, and a great job so far today. As Banks is 2-1. Spit on by Manukin to 3-1. We talked about how Banks is, he might not be on as short of a leash now, but with a 10-2 lead. As Manukin serves that one over a jumping Smith. A good throw in by the right fielder, Scow, will keep runners at first and second. And Coach Henry's going to come out. I think Banks' day is over. And a call to the bullpen by Pleasant Grove. Banks finishes, going 5+. GK, not happy. And that brings Keaton Nordic into the game. As Banks exits to a standing ovation from the Pleasant Grove crowd. 8 strikeouts and a strong, strong game, as you usually see from Hudson Banks. Nordic has had a very good game coming out of a very good season coming out of the bullpen. Last time we saw him was last game. He won 1/3 of an inning. Probably isn't going to back up my point, but he won 1/3 of the inning, allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 1 run. Faced 3 batters. But over the season, his numbers look a lot better. Nordic with 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, 4 hit by pitches, 6 strikeouts, 4 earned runs, 5 runs. Those numbers don't sound all that impressive, a 4 ERA on the season, but it's the 160 batting average against, the 2 strikeout to walk ratio, and the 1 whip that give you some confidence with Nordic out of the bullpen, as they'll try and get him a little more experience here in a low pressure situation. As Banks will just head to the dugout and end his day. No moving him in. As Nordic inherits runners on first and second, a pinch runner brought in for Manukin. It's number 39, Devon Aka. Aka is a name I heard before. I can't tell you what sport he played. Probably football. He did play football. I knew I recognized the name. 1,000 yards as a sophomore. Aka. 9 touchdowns. So it's a pretty talented wide receiver on first. Nordic on the mound. Kick, steals. There's strike one. 0-1. K9, as I call him. Keto, as the men in the dugout call him. 0-1 for Nordic. There's strike two. He is painting the bottom of the zone right now. Lone Peak is not letting Westlake get away easy. Lehi sends a man out in the bullpen. It's Cole Ybarra. The 0-2 for Nordic. Cut on and missed. They'll have to throw to first. They don't have to, since first base is already occupied. A strikeout for Nordic, the first man he faces.
Now running for the Pioneers, the right fielder, number 14.
We'll let you know Banks' line when it's final. He's responsible for the runners on first and second. That brings up Brown, the 7-hitter, and the right fielder. Nordic winds and deals. There's strike one. He is filling up the strike zone. As expected, American Fork and Skyridge in a tight match. Nordic's 0-1. As he deals a ball just too low, 1-1. You can't miss by much more. By much less, excuse me. That sounded rude. You can't miss by much less. Nordic deals. Lined to the shortstop Baxter. He'll flip to first. Smith can't get a speedy man. It's a fielder's choice.
Now batting for the Pioneers, the first baseman.
And that brings up Tyler Heap, the first baseman and the 8-hole hitter. Pleasant Grove possessing a 10-2 lead. Nordic has runners on the corners. The man on third is Banks. The man on first is Nordic's. Nordic deals. Can't quite be brought in by Wolfgram. 1-0. Nordic's 1-0 with 2 outs. He kicks and deals. That pitch skied to left field, drifting back and making the catch for Pleasant Grove is Nash Bennett. Nordic works pretty much a 1-2-3, about as close as you can get, as he cleans up a little bit of a mess that Banks made for him. Pleasant Grove takes a 10-2 lead in the top of the 7th. We'll be joined by Duffy after this break. Ybarra on the mound now for the Pioneers. Banks goes 5+ innings, 4 hits allowed, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 2 runs tagged against him. Duffy, welcome. Should probably unmute you. Welcome. And you are entering a good game, 10-2 Pleasant Grove after 6. Mason Henry, Nash Bennett, and Slater Scow will be the 3 Vikings to come up. That's 6, 7, 8 for Pleasant Grove. As Ybarra finishes his warm-up, a dangerous Mason Henry takes the plate. Henry has a double today, paired with a walk and a ground out. Bennett, the lefty, on deck. Will be followed presumably by Scow. We'll see if Pleasant Grove keeps it that way. As Ybarra entering the 7th inning. He kicks and deals, and that hits Henry. So Henry gets on for the 3rd time today. Pretty good performance at the plate. A lot of Vikings have 9 hits, including the monster home run by Wolfgram. 2 men reached on an error, 2 guys have been hit by a pitch, and 3 guys have walked. So a lot of traffic on the base paths for Pleasant Grove, and all of that has come after the 3rd inning. As Ybarra does not start out very strong, to say the least. Slater Scow on deck. Bennett singled, grounded out, and struck out. And that single was paired with an RBI. Barra goes high, 1-0. So Duffy, you hear GK and I talk about it. What are your thoughts on the jerseys? We'll go Pleasant Groves and then Lehi's.
PGs are just fire. They've always been so good.
Best jersey game in the state.
Yeah.
But out of 10, give him a number as Ybarra goes high again to it.
Oh, I would give PG a 10 out of 10.
Okay. I think GK and I settled around an 8 just because the difference. You go from black to gray, top to bottom. I feel like the 10 is reserved for like black, in my opinion.
But who would go black?
I think Pleasant Grove would. There's a 3-0 count now. American Fork went black. I think the issue for Pleasant Grove is they just don't have black pants. And it's not very easy to just get black pants for an entire baseball team. But maybe something they could invest in. Hint, hint. What about Lehi? And a little bit of like a baby blue, but the purple edition. I'm sure there's a name for it that I just can't think of. Ybarra's 3-0 is in their first strike. But
I think Lehi's they're good. They're better than AFs are. AFs are horrible.
Respectfully to Lehi, though, I don't know if I could wear a jersey that just has an L in the top left corner. Like, I get that you're Lehi.
But that's what their logo is. Their logo is the L.
Ybarra walks Bennett. So first 2 guys reach without having to swing the bat. As that brings up a cough. Slater Scow for his 4th time today. He hit a sac fly, walked, and struck out. I don't know. I feel like you could have like an alternate logo, or you could go with the...
They're not our school that has 30 different logos.
Or the ox. Like the one you see on the back of the belt buckle. I don't know. Back of the belt loop, I guess. Ybarra, runners on first and second. He kicks and deals. There's a strike into Scow. What about the backdrop? We've talked about the backdrop too. Thoughts on the backdrop here?
It's a good one, especially with the mountains in the backdrop. I'm not a fan of the freeway, but...
The Big O tires probably looks a little better now that you know that there's a Tua Wolfgram baseball back there somewhere.
Yeah. You got the Lehi Mills.
Yeah, I think that's the big part is the roller mills back there. Really gives it. I mean, it's just different. Like, it's something you won't see at another.
No.
American Fork had kind of a forest in left field and then the temple in the distance in right field, which even if 1-1, even if you aren't a member of that denomination, it's still a beautiful structure and a good scene. A 1-1 for Ybarra. As the first baseman is in for a bunt, Scout decides not to, fouls it back, 1-2.
Hey, update on the Skyridge game. Skyridge is up 12-9.
They're playing American Fork, correct?
Yep.
The new catcher in the game. I can't tell, actually, because the catcher's gear kind of, covers the number. It might be Hazen Elton would be my best guess.
Yeah.
Or it could be Bailey. I think it's Bailey, actually. Cade Bailey. Ybarra goes high, 2-2. I'm going to stick with Cade Bailey. That's probably a 1, don't you think? I don't know. You can't tell. It's just covered. We'll see if he turns around at any point. Ybarra on the mound. Kick steals the 2-2. Scow serves that one into right field. Running in to make a sliding. Oh, he dropped the ball. Pleasant Grove, runners have got to go. There's one out. They'll get Henry at third. The pitch was dropped in the outfield, which means that Bennett and Henry both have to advance. Henry didn't advance in time. Bennett just got his way across.
Alan.
But a fielder's choice for Scout.
Alan, are you going to commentate Spirit Bowl tomorrow?
Are we broadcasting Spirit Bowl?
Yes, we are.
That's weird. Probably not. I'm going to be cheering on the best class.
No, not even close.
24, baby. Senior year.
Juniors are going to take it.
1 year, 1 month until graduation. That's scary to say. Ybarra deals. High and tight. I'll come on for a little bit. Are we doing commentating?
We can if we want. I can set it up. It's not like it takes that long.
Oh, one.
Hey, 12 p.m. 12 p.m. on PGSN. You're going to watch Spirit Bowl. Watch the class of 2024 take down class of 2025 and the class of 2026.
Baxter lines that one up the middle. Can't be fielded by the shortstop. He was stepping on the second base bag. So Scow is out. And now there's runners on the corners with 2 outs as it's another fielder's choice. This time it's Baxter.
Come on, JB.
Now batting for Pleasant Grove, the second baseman, number 8, Drew Smith.
I'd say I'm probably not going to. To be completely honest, I've actually never been to Spirit Bowl. This is my first one.
You've never been to Spirit Bowl?
I've never been to Spirit Bowl.
Do you even know what Spirit Bowl is?
I do know what it is. I've just never gone.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's a Wednesday. I like to leave.
Okay, this is my thing. Is I think that the juniors should have won last year.
I agree.
But
as someone who was a junior last year,
it was rigged. This year, it's not as rigged.
It's always rigged for the seniors. Let's be honest.
They kind of move things around.
Smith pops that one to center field. Coming on. Did he catch it? Making a diving catch for American Fork. A show of brilliance with the glove and a little bit of questionable play with the glove for the Pioneers that inning. But sorry, to go back to the Spirit Bowl conversation, I've just never been interested in it.
But you're now interested in the year that you're going to lose.
Now that the year that it's usually rigged for me.
It's not going to be rigged, though.
I honestly think that we'd win regardless, but
hey,
just something about that class of 24, baby. 24 karat magic in the air.
I already know who's winning the dance. It's definitely faculty.
Yeah, faculty always has a really good dance every year, and then low-key just kind of flops.
But also, the last time faculty won was the first year Spirit Bowl was ever done at PG.
Yeah, and then they decided students didn't like that very much.
Yeah.
Let's have the students win every year.
Well,
I feel
faculty could win if they tried.
I feel like Spirit Bowl is very much, well, I feel like you've also got to weight it a little bit. Like, faculty could win because, I mean, they're the breadwinners. If anybody's donating to and the juniors actually killed it this year, but to the Smiles, I forgot what it's called. But if anyone's like the people with the most money are the teachers. So really, they could, wipe it out with like a $1,000 donation. Bang, it's over.
Yeah.
But I feel like the teachers also know that it's more of something for the kids. Like, it's more of something for the students.
Most schools don't have faculty in it. We're one of the only schools, especially Utah County, that has faculty in.
Most schools aren't as cool as Pleasant Grove. Nordic opens him up with a strike. Most schools don't have PGSN either.
Yeah.
At the dish is Gavin Yates, as he waves and misses at another offering from Nordic. Quickly 0-2 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Wanted to give a little appreciation to you really quick. This is the guy, this is Duffy, he's our producer. This is the guy that you, and strike 3. Sorry, Nordic strikeout overrules this. Just for a second. But Duffy's the guy that is at every game, usually way before me, and sets everything up for me and lets me just sit down and talk and then go listen to what Coach has to say after the game. So very, very grateful for Duffy and everything that you do behind the scenes. and sometimes in the scenes. As he just not given a strike, Nordic there. But thank you for all that you do, both through, well, not both, all through football, basketball, and baseball season. There's a 1-1. Done a lot. And a lot of it goes underappreciated or not appreciated at all. So, thank you. With a 1-1, Nordic facing the leadoff man, Ozzie Williams. As there's a ball that goes 2-1. This is Williams' fourth time up as Nordic deals. There's strike two. What a beautiful off-speed pitch from Nordic as the count moves 2-2.
This is the third time AF's changed their pitcher in this inning.
This makes you wonder where Pleasant Grove's success was against that pitching staff. Because, was it Hollenbach, do you know, that started today's game for American
No, I wasn't
Fork?
paying attention to the game until now. It's
Nordic doesn't get a call on the outside corner. Be careful what you say to him. They might throw Coach Henry out. Full count. And a walk. So back-to-back calls that Pleasant Grove doesn't like. That was a reference to Aaron Boone getting thrown out yesterday, for those of you that may not know that.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen in
That was
Major League
terrible.
Baseball.
Yankees manager Aaron Boone got thrown out because of something that a fan sitting behind him said. The umpire mistook it for Boone. My favorite part of that whole exchange was, as I make it family friendly, the umpire, everyone called him Hunter, that's his first name. But Hunter, he goes, "You're probably right, Boone." And Boone says, "I'm not right. I'm not probably right. I am right." And that was, I feel like, Aaron Boone's had a lot of all-time ejections. He gets ejected a lot as Nordic deals. Strike one. 35 times, actually, as a manager of the Yankees. And he is in his 6th season there.
That's a lot.
Yeah. He got suspended last year because he got ejected 10 times.
How long is this suspension?
They just made him miss an extra game.
Oh.
But
It's not like
that
he had
time,
to miss.
that one was not his fault. And it was 4 pitches in the game. 4 pitches in. So he basically missed an entire game yesterday, one that the Yankees would end up losing 2-0. Nordic deals. Cut on a miss, 0-2.
But did you see the interview after the game where the umpire was asked about it? And
Yeah.
they were like, he was like, it didn't respond.
It's an interesting situation. As a throw on to first, not in time.
In most professional sports, when you get kicked out, they normally fine the team or fine the player. But I don't think Major League's going to pull a fine out because that was
I don't think
his
you
fault.
can. Yes Network kind of accidentally showed the fact, that's the Yankees broadcasting network, as Nordic goes high, 1-2. Yes Network was showing Boone as he got ejected, like live. It wasn't, they cut back to replay. They were showing him as he got ejected, and he didn't say a word. He got told to be quiet, and he went and was quiet. But Madsen skies that one to right field. Scow drifting over. He makes the catch. So that moves the Pioneers down to their final out. And that brings up Cooper Williams. So Duffy, as I was talking before I forgot that you're underappreciated, what I was going to ask before, you've been to every game. How do you feel like Pleasant Grove's kind of navigated the peaks and the valleys, obviously last Friday being one of the lowest valleys you can have? How do you feel like they've navigated that throughout the season?
They have played some really tough teams, especially in St. George with playing Dixie, who's the #2 in the state, and Coronado, which is the number in the top 5 in Nevada and in the top 100 in the country. You're just playing teams that are so hard to beat. And then you have AF, who's also up in that top numbers, especially in the state. Yeah.
So you feel like that's something that could, obviously, as that one's popped up, that might do it. And it hits the top of the dugout. Just too far away for Wolfgram. But you feel like that's something that'll end up serving Pleasant Grove well once you get to the playoffs and you're facing the teams that aren't from Region 3 and aren't so highly rated in the state, that it's going to be worth it to have faced and lost to Coronado, faced and lost to Dixie, faced and lost to American Fork. Because you feel like when you face them later in the season, you can go out and beat them.
Yeah.
Okay. Nordic's 1-1. Kicks and deals. That pitch lined, and it's going to get past Baxter. So keeping him going, as that's the first hit against Nordic today. We talked about that. He's got very positive numbers, and one of those is his batting average against.
I do like sometimes PG does have some really struggles on the pitching side. A lot of hit by pitches, but dealt to the opposing team, not given. Like we know RJ gets a lot, but like there is a lot. I think most pitchers hit at least 1 or 2 per game, especially for PG.
Yeah, Nordic opens Drakulic up with a ball low. Not to jinx them, but they haven't had one yet today.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say not to jinx them and then not jinx them. I'm trying to like do 4 different jinxes at once here, so we'll see how that works. But Nordic's 1-0, waved at and missed. Runners on first and second. Pleasant Grove up 10-2 in what they hope to be the final inning of this one. Bottom of the 7th. 1-1 count for Nordic, who came in relief of Banks, who went 5 strong. Allowed 1 earned, 2 total. Nordic's 1-1. Wind, the kick, the pitch. In the dirt. Good block by Wolfgram to keep the runners put. And tried to go after a runner at second, Williams, who's got a lot of speed. Where did GK go?
I don't know, but Westlake and Lone Peak are tied at 4 with Lone Peak has someone on third base. 2 outs.
What inning?
Bottom of the 7th.
Hopefully that one stays tied and they have to play extra ball. Nordic's 2-1 is shot to right field. Scow drifts over and makes a jumping catch. That does it for Pleasant Grove. A 10-2 victory. What a bounce back. Lehi was perfect through 3. Pleasant Grove said, I don't like that. 10-2 victory fueled by a CJ Anderson. He kind of broke the dam wide open as Tua Wolfgram hit a shot over the left field fence and Banks went 5 strong. Nordic came in relief. Vikings win 10-2 here at Lehi. We'll be back on Wednesday in Pleasant Grove as the Vikings take on the Pioneers for the second game of a 3-game set. Pleasant Grove will try and win it. Lehi will try to send them to a rubber match back here on Friday. Thank you for tuning in to PGSN today. We will see you guys on Friday, on Wednesday afternoon.